Hello everyone! There are plenty of characters in Hearthstone that have become fan favorites. Characters who have amazing, funny, and interesting tales centered around them. I mean, we all remember the joyful yell of funnel cakes, right? Most of these characters, they'll lose their popularity as time goes by, and new characters are introduced. There's one character, however, who has gained what can only be described as a cult-like following. He has his own unofficial subreddits, parody social media accounts, and has even had an article written about him discussing just how awesome he actually is. Move over, Edgar, because we got a new father figure, and this guy doesn't need to follow us around in a globe for us to love him. We are of course referring to Bartender Bob.
Don't tell the others. I'm rooting for you.
As to the lore of Bob, simply put, we don't know much. A lot of it's been left up for interpretation. Do we even really know his name? Is Bob actually it, or is it short for something? Is he called Robert? Bobbert? Who knows? But fans around the globe adore him nonetheless. Whereas Hearthstone Brew is the innkeeper. Bob's Taverns are your stops on the Hearthstone battleground and solo adventures. He was introduced as an easy way for players to switch up the decks mid-run. This was a pretty nifty mechanic, but it's Bob's infectious optimism and enthusiasm that players came to love.
You're doing great out there.
Bob believes in your ability, even if all evidence proves otherwise. He is the proud father watching his kids play football at the side of the pitch, a tear of pride rolling down his face. Visiting Bob's Inn is like visiting a stereotypical grandparent. You go there with nothing and you end up coming out of there feeling like the most important person in the world, with your pockets full of all sorts of goodies. He runs multiple taverns and pubs, but you nearly always seem to end up in the one with him tending the bar. On rare occasions, we do seem to end up somewhere slightly off the beaten track, and Bob is replaced with Bartendertron, who only offers up mech minions. Spooky really. Now Bob, he first opens his doors to us during the Daladon Heist solo adventure, appearing just after the 3rd and 5th boss rounds of each and every run. As we take a seat at the bar, we receive between 3 to 5 cards that give us unique abilities to modify our decks. The essence of this scenario is to get rid of the cards that you don't want, add the cards that you do. Upon entering, 4 of your minions will be placed on your side of the board, and 4 random minions will be placed on Bob's side. You have a total of 2 gold to use for your stay in the tavern. And whereas some of the new cards in your hands, they're free to use, some do come with a cost of 1 gold, so you need to choose wisely. Of your new cards, 4 are free to use. You can use the Brood card to change the minions on both yours and Bob's side of the board, if the current minions aren't something that you're interested in. The Dismiss card, it lets you remove one of your currently played minions from your deck. Kindle, it lets you look at 4 spells from your adventure deck and choose one to remove. And then, You're All Fired removes all 4 of your minions on your side of the board from your adventure deck. Then come the 1 gold cards. These vary in effects from recruiting all of Bob's minions with Round of Drinks, increasing the health and damage of one of your minions by 4, and increasing its cost by 2 with the Tall Tales cards, or even choosing a minion to always start in your hand with the Right Hand Man cards. There are a few more intriguing cards that you could get when you enter the tavern, but we have to leave some of them for you to discover for yourself. The cards that you get, they seem to be randomly selected when you enter the tavern, but you do usually seem to get at least 1 free cost card and 1 gold cost card each and every time. It isn't just Daladon where we get to hang out with our newfound father figure. He also joins us as Aviator Bob in the tavern brawl, The Road to Northrend, and he is there cheering us on in the Tombs of Terror solo adventure, where, if we didn't love him enough already, one of the taverns is named the Root Sandstorm. Bob isn't just supporting us in our solo adventures, however. His inns are open to offer a welcome reprieve from the chaos of the battlegrounds. Things do happen slightly different here, and there are a few more things to keep into consideration. When you start the battleground, you'll start off with 3 coins to spend, and use them in Bob's Inn, just as you did in the solo adventures. This time, however, you can gain more coins, up to a maximum of 10, every time that you complete a round. Bob, he's lined up some minions for you to have a look at, and you can recruit them by dragging them over to your hero. Each minion will cost you 3 coins. If one of your minions isn't working out for you, you can sell it back to Bob for 1 coin by dragging it over to him. An additional mechanic in the Battlegrounds is the ability to upgrade Bob's Tavern. Doing this will give you a higher tier of minions to buy, and each time that you upgrade, the cost does increase and then it diminishes again. So it's a line that you need to follow, a curve in order to keep up with the other heroes in the Battlegrounds. Another nifty little trick of the Tavern phase is the ability to take 3 of the same minion and then turn it into a triple. It basically puts them all together, stats, buffs, all that good stuff. It's a more powerful golden version of the original cards, and when you play it, you get a reward, you get another card to play. The reason Bob is so beloved is because he's more than just a minion store. He will encourage us, tell us that we're his favorite commander, and he thinks that we could win this whole battleground if we wanted to.
I think you can win this thing.
He tells us it's a joy to watch us work, even if we're just trying to work out what order to put our cards in. Even if we fail, he's like a motivational guide telling us that what doesn't destroy us makes us stronger and to pick ourselves back up and try again. At this point, if you ever come across a difficult decision, you should just stop and ask yourself, what would Bob do?
Bob, do something!
Bob and his taverns seem to be as respected as Harv is, even by the various dastardly villains of the League of Evil, with Rafam telling you that fighting is not allowed in Bob's tavern, but you can still hurt feelings, and Blastmaster Boom telling you that there is no fighting, you just gotta hug it out in there. Bob seems just as relaxed around these characters of suspicious morals as he is around anyone else, and seems to be well acquainted with them, calling Rakanishu the scamp from the lamp, and Squemlish a diamond in the rough. His response to the paladin George the Lust really sent the rumor mill into overdrive. Even though it is a seemingly casual greeting,
George! I haven't seen you in ages. You get lost out there?
some lore-hungry fans, they made a connection between Bob recognizing George and a passing likeness to the card art of other cards to mean Bob is a retired Silverhand Knight. The paladin on the artwork from the Silverhand Knight cards. It does have a resemblance, but that is what's so enticing about not having so much lore about him. We can guess and speculate about his backstory all that we want. We may not know much about his story, but it doesn't seem to matter, because Bob is a firm fan favorite who the Hearthstone community have adopted as their father figure, their friend and mentor. That is all that we know about the enigmatic bartender for now. But it will be interesting to see if the community hit the nail on the head with some of his suggested backstories in the future. Only time will tell. But while we wait, why not pull up a stool at his tavern and listen to him tell us how brilliant we are.
Any defeat that doesn't destroy you makes you strong.
And with that, we're going to wrap up the video. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. Let us know in the comments down below which card you'd like us to cover next. You could also subscribe, hit the bell, hit the like button, don't hit yourself, and until next time, see ya!